All right, y'all. How y'all doing today? I am Chella. Welcome to our Stop LAPD Spying webinar. Power, not paranoia. We love building power in our community, not paranoia. I am Chella on Tongvaland in Skid Row. My pronouns are she and they. I've been an organizer with Stop LAPD Spying for the last 8 years, and this is the gender and sexuality group. To remind those, we are recording this, letting y'all know that. I think Nghia already announced that before they pushed record. But we want to get to know folks in this space. I'm very intimate. I like to know people. So, since it is a beautiful LGBT Pride Month, of course it's corporate, but we're gonna talk about that a little bit later. What is a queer artist, author, music, or movie that is on your mind that you have seen, queer or trans, that you have seen, or that you want to tell others about? I'll go first. I love my band, number one, we're all queer. Number two, I also love Audre Lorde, and I was just telling them that I listen to go to sleep, I listen to things going to sleep, and I listened to a radio broadcast from her, and she was schooling some man on intersectionality, especially being a queer Afro Caribbean Black woman, you know? And so I think that was just amazing. To Audre Lorde, and I share my birthday with her. That's my queer icon. Anybody else can go next. Your name, pronoun, trans or queer, author, music, anything that you want to tell us about. Anyone can go, or old popcorn. I will pick nachos.
Thanks so much, Hey folks, my name is Matthias. I use he, one pronouns. Yeah, Octavia Butler's coming to mind. Parable of the Sower is a book I really like. James Baldwin, someone I really love and admire too. And I'll pass it to Lee.
Biali, everyone. My name is Nghia. I use she, they pronouns with the Stop LAPD Spying Coalition. And definitely have been thinking a lot about, the author in the book is Love with Accountability. And the main author is both like a love note as well, but it's a beautiful piece, and there's a dope organizer as well, Etsy, who has a portion as well where they write about like different tactics and like just about like the roots of childhood, like child sexual abuse as well. So definitely really appreciate their words and with just what they always have to like their teachings. And I'll pass it over to Mariela.
Hi, everyone. It's really good to be here tonight. My name is Mariela Saba, she, they pronouns. I'm open. Both part of Stop LAPD, Spying Coalition, and Familia. So I'm really happy to be in the space tonight. Zami, A New Spelling of My Name by Audre Lorde is one of my favorite lesbian novels. And she made her own genre for it. It's a biomythography. So it's part autobiography and part myth. And I was really happy to read it. I think I was like 20 or so, like 14 years ago now, but it just came up. I forgot about that title. It's been a while. I really recommend it. And I just want to plug in Juan Gabriel. He passed away not long ago, legendary singer from Mexico. Known for a phrase, lo que se ve no se pregunta, what you see, you don't need to ask. When he was asked about being queer or gay in the Mexican culture, that's hard to also be ourselves in. So present peace to Juanga. And I'll pass it to Sol. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Sol, calling in from Durham, North Carolina. Moved here from Mid-City, Los Angeles, where I was raised. And what I've been listening to recently is a podcast called Nosotras, which is a podcast with like folks who are based out of Mexico City with trans experience and beyond. And it's just been really dope to play it throughout the past couple of days. Se la paso a Nghia.
Hola, good evening. Hello, everybody. My name is Nghia Nguyen. My pronouns are she, her, they, them, theirs, or J if you're Vietnamese. Just means older sister. And a queer writer that I just found his novel called Things We Lost to the Water by Eric Nguyen. Just came out last year. It's such a beautiful love story. It's not a love, well, I guess it's a love story between like a family member of refugees coming to the States and moving to New Orleans, and kind of like the whole history and lineage of this family, growing up and living in New Orleans, right? And like the writer's queer, there are queer characters in the story, but just a beautiful, beautiful story called Things We've Lost to the Water. And I'll invite Soma into the conversation.
Hey y'all. I'm really enjoying how much y'all party. It's like music and literature and art and all the good stuff you get to hear about. My name's Soma. I'm with the Sidewalk Project, pronouns she, her. And Chella, when you brought this up, I guess what came to mind for me, there's a couple of queer punk rock bands that I really like. And, you know, punk rock can be a very white and very male, kind of like toxic male space. So it's great, you know, when punk rockers who who are not that trap girl is led by the lead singer is a trans woman of color, and then there's Venomous Pinks, who I also love, and they're feminist as fuck, also queer, and you know, like the kind of music that you want to run and kind of get really hyped up about. So yeah, I guess I will pass it on to who hasn't gone. Max.
Hi, yes. My name is Max. My pronouns are they, she. And y'all are bringing up really good books and music I'm gonna have to look up. There was like last summer, I binged watched like every queer show that I could find in every network since it was COVID time. So I would say that the last one I saw that I liked was Vida. And it was really good because it took place in Boyle Heights and like Los Angeles, and it kind of just showed just the Latin side of folks who haven't came out, and just how that city looked and how it was being gentrified, but also like somebody who was like bisexual and struggling to accept their bisexuality. So I thought that was cool about the character. Yeah, and I think you guys should check it out if you have a chance. It just got on Hulu, so feel free to check that out. And yeah, happy to be here.
There's still a few more people that haven't gone. Anyone can go.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not too sure who hasn't gone yet.
I'll go. What was the question again?
Naming like an artist, a queer or trans or queer artist that you like, or a trans or queer book, or I do like, you know, something that's trans or queer related. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Chella. My name's Isaiah. I go by he, him, L. And I think queer art that I liked was I'm a big fan of Ryoko Ikeda. I was watching Dear Brother and Rose of Versailles, and I thought those were pretty good, you know, narratives, and especially, you know, even something back then that was made in the 70s, you know, like that's something that you really wouldn't see in America. And also, I guess you could say, you know, I'm a fan of Clive Barker, like some of his books, like The Thief of Always and The Sacrament and stuff like that. And I think I'll call on Ahmed.
Hey everybody, greetings. My name is Ahmed, he, him, with Stop LAPD Spying Coalition. Happy to be here. Gosh, both the names were already shared with Audre Lorde and James Baldwin. So the fire next time. Some of the really intense work from Baldwin. So still very much always real. So yeah, I think that was it. Thank you.
Give the last space to the last person that hasn't gone.
I think I'll
Persona?
Yeah, they usually don't check in, Chilla. So if you want to go.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's cool. All right, thank you. And I'm gonna be really personal here. I love Vida. It's super good. Hintified is better though. Yes, and thank you for naming Trap Girl. I've done a show with them before. I love her. Yeah, it's great to like just remember that like this is the month of Pride. That Pride was the very first Pride was a fucking riot, right? It wasn't this corporate pro-capitalist, pro-white supremacist thing that you see everywhere now. So yeah, I am gonna give the mic over to the other facilitator, Nghia, who's going to be doing to ushering us into the next part. Come on, Nghia.
Thanks, Shella. Hey, everyone. I'm going to share my screen real quick, so please bear with me. But we wanted to start off, so in the beginning of all of our webinars, we like to start off with one of our principles, just as a grounding practice as well. And so today for this webinar, we chose an injury to one is an injury to all. We shall not tolerate any abuse, oppression, repression, or violations made against any members of our community. We must fight together with marginalized communities to abolish all systems of oppression. And then the two characters holding a banner saying, "You come for one, you come for all." And definitely with this principle, it's like especially as abolitionists, it's also looking at the ways of which, like when we talk about the abolition of policing, also understanding the different practices and how we are going to show up to keep each other safe as well. So creating those avenues, as well as where we talk about like abolishing and we talk about dismantling, it also includes a lot of creativity and ways in which to navigate those spaces that we actually center each other and the things that our communities actually need. And so if folks want to take a look at the statement of principles, there's a QR code as well. You can take a picture and it'll send you directly to the link. Or if you go on our website, it also is under the resources under zines. You can also access and print either the online or view the printable version as well if you want to take a look or get it printed out. And then we also just wanted to provide some updates just from the last webinar. We had an internal, more of a strategizing session as well. Right now we're in the midst of providing, or we requested some PRAs, California Public Records Act request, to get more information, really guided by both US pros who kind of like we met with them to kind of talk about what information they would want to have as far as like the targeting of sex workers, especially and leading up to the Super Bowl. And so we haven't received many information, but that's something that is in the works. So folks also would want to plug in and see how sex workers were targeted during and right before the Super Bowl. That happened in February of earlier this year. Feel free to either send us your email at the bottom or to send us an email as well so we can connect you with the work. And then I will pass it over to Mariela.
Thank you, Nghia, and thank you everybody for being present tonight. I'm really excited to welcome Familia Trans Queer Liberation Movement to the space. I happen to be one of our co-founders and ongoing organizers with us. And I've also been with Stop LAPD since the co-founding since 2011. So there's a lot of overlap and connections here. And I'm really happy that we have this space to build with each other. We are welcoming Nghia to the space. Nghia just joined us as one of our organizers for many national, various cities are participating in actions with the theme No Pride in Detention, part of our End Trans Detention campaign that's been ongoing till we win, and then we'll keep on going too. And I also see Sol in the space too. I want to, Sol, feel free. This is another political home here. These are friends and family here. Feel free to chime in. Sol is from, does our social media, amazing work, but I also know you're in the East Coast and it's really late night, so just whatever feels good for you at your capacity. So yes, Nghia gonna do a little run through of our actions, what we're doing, why we're doing it. We have one action already we could talk about that kicked off the month, and we have an LA one and San Francisco one coming up this weekend. But especially here locally in LA, want you all to help us show up, reach out to other folks, and give some input in the last couple of days before that action. So that's what we're gonna get into tonight. So everybody, just welcome Nghia to the space, and I'll just pass it to you, Nghia, to share anything and everything you'd like to share about the actions, and we could lean on each other. And folks, it'll be open for your questions. We'll open up the space as well.
Yes, thank you for giving me the time in the space. I am the new national organizer at Familia, TQLM, and it is an honor and a privilege to be in this space, not just with Familia, but with you all doing amazing work to abolish this military industrial complex, this prison industrial complex, this white supremacist, imperialist, this heteropatriarchy that we are living in that is devastating so many of our communities as a it's an honor. Thank you very much. I was hired and selected to help coordinate and organize on a national scale our No Pride in Detention campaign that's happening 2022. We want to really highlight some of the things while we're celebrating Pride Month this month, as queer and trans folks, that we have to remember that, there is no pride in detention. Of course, celebration must come for all of the wins that we've got, but we also know that this machine powered by a exploitative capitalist machine is always trying to commodify our movements and change and really shift the attention from the damages and the destruction that capitalism rots over communities. And so we want to bring attention to the things that this administration can do, this Biden administration, and we demand that Biden gets all of the queer and trans folks in detention out, to stop Title 42, and also to protect queer and trans kids in the nation that are being attacked by these anti-trans and anti-queer legislations that are going on. I mean, today I just heard about one that was happening in Texas, where they want to abolish, or they want to criminalize children getting dressed up in drag, right? hearkening back to those articles of clothing policies that were a thing in New York City, leading to like one of the things that led to the Stonewall uprising that happened, right? Like policing, criminalization on how queer and trans people get to dress and how they get to behave. These things are very arbitrarily focused on white supremacy and patriarchy and all of these systems. They really want to regulate ourselves. And I really want to harken back to this project being one that has been for centuries, right? The colonization of the Hoyas here, of the Chumash tribe people, even just on an ongoing thing. I, connect back to my own Southeast Asian heritage and people that, it was only 50 years ago, even around the time of Stonewall, where the United States was bombing tons and tons of, they bombed Southeast Asia more than World War I and World War II combined. And with that bombing also came the gender side of my people as well. So it's an ongoing project. And what we want to highlight specifically with Familia is the no pride in detention. So we can definitely celebrate as a people, but let's also win some more too. Some of the cities that we're kicking off with is Orlando, Florida. And that is going to be an ongoing one, but it's going to start on June 18th. And we're doing a portrait project to coincide with Orlando, right? They're doing an event called, sorry, I have it right here. It's called Healing. Shoot, do you remember what the name of the event was? I think it's called like
the organization that's hosting it locally is Q Latinx, and they came about after the murders of folks in Pulse in the club. But it's been a couple of years since that, and they've been holding space. So that they're very grounded in healing justice work, and they'll be doing a healing.
Yeah, it's called Healing something. It's at the, I'm so sorry, I don't remember it, but when I do, I'll send it to you. But it's basically a portrait event where they're going to be taking portraits and also a kind of like artistic journal writing project. And in Florida, they have the Don't Say Gay legislation that has occurred. So the project would really coincide with this, like, we're gonna say gay, we're gonna say lesbian, we're gonna say trans, we're gonna say queer, and we're gonna make it loud, right? So that's one project. Another is happening in Houston, Texas. They're having a rally on June 30th. And then also in Tucson, Arizona, they're also having a rally on June 30th as well. And so these are the major cities that we're really highlighting at the moment, but there are multiple cities that are participating in the No Pride in Detention. I had the wonderful opportunity to be in Queens, New York this Sunday, where they had their Pride action within the Queens Pride Parade. And I really want to show a video about, just show a short video of what it looks like. So maybe I can send the video to someone and they can share their screen later. Yeah, would you like that?
Yes, unless is there a possibility of giving you screen sharing powers?
I mean, I don't, if you're not comfortable with that, I don't mind sharing the video with somebody, but I can also share my screen too. Either works.
Me, maybe sharing it with you?
Yeah, you can either share it with me. I'll also make you co-host as well, just in case you'd want to screen share anything as well. but I'll send you my email in case that you prefer that way.
Yeah, can you pop your email into the chat for me, and then I'll just send it, and then I can continue talking about the Pride Action. So yeah, so we've got the Pride Action happening in Queens, New York. We've got the happening in San Francisco, Los Angeles, as you know. I think you may be talking about it later. Orlando, Florida, San Diego, North Carolina, Atlanta, Philadelphia, Sacramento, Chicago. So there's so, this project is extending as far as we can. And what we really want to do is we want to build more, like we want to really inspire our queer and trans folks that are in the South, in Pacific Northwest, in the different regions, right? As they're seeing this campaign just kind of blowing up all over the nation, that they will get inspired as well. And we can continue to build our base with Familia much better for us to win more. And yeah, let me copy your email and I'll send this over to you. So the clip that I'm going to send on over to you is going to be, I'll explain what's happening in the clip. If I know I should have done this a lot sooner, but I didn't think I was going to share the video. Sorry. You know what, I just realized that you can't hit Control Copy. I'll just type it up and I'll copy it that way. All right, Nee, let me know if you should be receiving that video like in 15 seconds. Okay, so Alex, just explain what's going on in the video. Yeah, we were able to get a slot within the Queen's March, right? And you know, at the end of like every Pride action, every Pride parade, there's like they announce what the organization is, who the people are that are marching in the street. So this is where we get to the end of the parade, and the folks down in Queens and New York City and Brooklyn, all of these queer and trans organizations have organized together for this specific action that's going to happen in this video. And let me know when you're ready to share. And see the guy, or actually the person in the blue dress is the one that's kind of announcing along with their partner. But this is Familia's banner moving with the crowd, and yeah. You can go ahead and play.
New York. Marcus, with your steady hand. Absolutely. Familia, the trans queer liberation movement, works at the local and national levels to achieve the collective liberation of trans, queer, and gender non-conforming Latinxes through building community, organizing, advocacy, and education.
Prenda la alarma. Todos al suelo. Mia, Francisco, Jessica. Mia, Francisco. And trans detention. Primero que nada, mi nombre es Elizabeth Chávez y quiero pedir, no tenemos mucho tiempo, we don't have that much time, so I want to ask everyone for 15 seconds of silence. 15 seconds of silence for the trans women that have been murdered in the detention centers. Something that we most don't know. Detention centers exist and our trans migrants are being detained in those places. Sus derechos están siendo abusados, no están siendo tratados como seres humanos. We're being discriminated against in these places. with the support of our government. Así que Biden, escucha, estamos en la lucha. Mallorcas, escucha, estamos en la lucha. Pride is not complete until we're all free.
Yes!
This fight was started in 1969 by trans women, a black one and a Spanish one, and many other trans women who started this fight. Thanks to them, we have freedom and rights. But trans is not complete because trans women still being the target of discrimination, murder, and exclusion. So I want to give the microphone to my co-worker and compañera Jessica Guaman to talk 20 seconds about the work she's doing for our trans immigrant community, especially those who are crossing the border.
Yes.
Hi everyone, my name is Jessica Guaman. I'm from Hope for TGNC and White. And White, we work with Familia, but my message I give in Spanish. Bueno, somos Hope for TGNC and White, Esperanza para Mujeres Trans y Género No Conforme de Nueva York. Bueno, nosotros estamos ayudando a las chicas que llegan a la ciudad de Nueva York a que reciban los servicios que tenemos en la ciudad. Como sabemos, pues las chicas que llegan en esta ciudad no tienen soporte, no tienen familia, muchas de ellas no tienen familia. Y nosotros somos esa familia que llegamos aquí junto con mi compañera Elizabeth Chávez. Estamos apoyando a nuestras hermanas ya que en los centros de detención se violan todos sus derechos humanos. Muchas de ellas son encarceladas solamente por pedir un asilo político, lo cual es viola los derechos humanos, lo cual es injusto y no debería de ser encarcelada una mujer que pide asilo político. Thank you, Jessica. Very briefly, please, 20 seconds, 10 seconds for Nghia from Sacramento.
Hey everybody, so as we are celebrating this Pride this year, let's not forget that there are over 200 anti-queer and anti-trans bills that are being pushed into legislation. A lot of it in Arizona, a lot of it in the red states. So we have to remember, as we are celebrating right now, there is no pride in detention. How can we be free if there are others that are not free for us? So let's not forget, we need Biden, the Biden administration to put their focus on getting trans and queer people out of detention right now. There is no pride in detention.
Yes, thank you so much for showing that. And so that was basically, the end of the Queen's March. And as I mentioned earlier, these actions, these demonstrations, these art events, they're looking so beautiful in so many different ways. We're just showing all of our creativity when agitating and bringing attention and light to what's happening in detention, and also with Pride this year and maybe in the future as well. I can leave this space open for questions, or if anybody wants to add anything or whatever.
Thank you, Nghia, for sharing all of that. And yeah, we do want to open it up if there's anyone who wants to chime in, questions, comments. Sol from the social media team too, if there's anything you want to add, feel free.
Yeah, I had a question, and feel free either, for anyone to chime in and to answer. But I just wanted to see, like, if folks were interested in plugging into the work of Familia or to get involved with any of the campaigns or events that y'all are going to be putting together locally, or even like wherever it may be. How can folks plug into the work? Is there like a mailing list, or how can folks get plugged in?
Yeah, so we have a website. Definitely get subscribed to that. It's the End Trans Detention. Is it .com or .org?
.org.
.org. Thank you, Sol. Yeah, definitely End Trans Detention. That's like the overarching larger project, right? We want all queer and trans people. I mean, ultimately, we want everybody out of, like, we want that ICE detention center, like, that's like a thing of the past, right? All prisons. But definitely endtransdetention.org, because we know that queer and trans people are facing violence on multiple fronts in the detention centers, not just from, you know, the white supremacist guards and also the administration, and but also from cisgender folks that don't understand or have been indoctrinated to believe that queer and trans people are something other than sacred.
There's also a lot of updates on our social media, so we could plug that into the chat as well. And a personal ask is that if South LAPD could help highlight the actions as they come throughout the month, and then there's other actions that are lining up for October. So we're kicking this off now in June and through October, and like I said, as long as we have to. And I see Soma's hand.
Yeah. I also want to add too that this trans and queer detention is not just a Latinx problem, right? We know that there are Black and Brown and Asian and Pacific Islander and so many other trans and queer folks that are in ICE detention, right? Like the state, they really want to create these borders. They really want to kick us out. So yes, this is not just a Latinx, you know, issue. It's overarching. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, Soma, thank you, Nghia, for that. And feel free, Soma.
I have a question based on the video. Near the end, you were talking about some of the policies that are being passed, 200 policies, anti-trans policies, and you mentioned Arizona. Are you all organizing in Arizona as well? Is that, you have like a local, okay.
Yeah, we're ending in Tucson, Arizona. I mean, ending just makes it seem like it's going to stop there, but like, you know, that's at the end of the month, that's where the action will be.
There's at least 12 bills in Arizona. So it's one of the states that was important to participate in. And we have great partner organizations out there, including Mariposas Sin Fronteras, who's really the local organization hosting and holding the action. I'll put a website on the chat that it's like a anti-trans bill tracker, and you can go state by state to see what's going on in each state and what kind of actions folks can take.
Yeah. And I have this question that maybe somebody within this group may know, but like, I'm wondering if these legislations are being created, right? They're being manufactured by like think tanks like ALEC or like just any of those like big think tanks that these like conservative folks are like really pushing out because they really want to limit reproductive rights. They want to take them away, trans rights, queer rights, just all of these things, right? And so they like craft these just basic, kind of like what they did with the prison industrial complex. So I'm just wondering like if anybody knows any resources on how we can like kind of pinpoint who are creating these legislations, like what are they filling in, things like that. But yeah, that's my question, if anybody knows.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure as far as like large, like folks that are doing it on the large scale or like looking at like different legislation like in different states. But I know one tactic that the coalition really really utilizes to get more information is like like the FOIA, the Freedom of Information Act, and the like specific to when it's like locally, it's the California Public Records Act request. But that's something that we utilize as well to get like the communications, the trainings, things that folks recommend, especially because private companies, you can't really request to see that information. But if there, for example, if there's communication between the state or public like public or state entities with these private companies, that's when we're able to kind of gather that information. Right now we're trying to even see things like is text messages are are any of that information as well, besides just email communications, and that information also accessible. But that's something that we typically tend to do, and then in community we kind of just go through that information to kind of pinpoint like, okay, these are the main players, or these are the names that we see popping up, and then request more as we kind of start being able to piece together that information. But I'm not sure if anyone else wants to or knows of other ways.
So I wonder if there are any more questions or comments in the chat. We put Familia's Instagram and Twitter, which are active, and you can reshare posts for any and all of the actions. And Familia will be promoting LA's action as well. And then there's that website that I've been using to look at anti-trans bills. It's called tracktranslegislation.com. It's not an org that we know of or anything. It was just doing research and trying to find something. So it's just it's an online source. If there aren't any other questions or comments at the moment, we could bring this energy into the LA Queer Apocalypse, the LA Pride Takeover, happening this Sunday. So there's a space for folks who are here in LA to plug in from 12 to 3 p.m. in person at the Santa Monica and San Vicente cross streets. And for that, I want to turn it to you, Chela, if you're open to giving some background on this. This is not the first action, and I think Chela has been one of the main organizers that has made this space possible. And we will be plugging in the end trans detention, no pride in detention campaign within the action too.
So yes, I mean, pretty much you said it all, but just to give you a brief history, her story, the story is that you know, like we said, pride is corporate and white supremacist and anti-Black, and xenophobic. So we wanted to create one that was pro-Indigenous, pro-Black, pro-trans, pro-queer, pro differently abled / disabled folks, you know, and you know, punk as fuck. And so we kind of we took over the first Pride coming back from COVID 2 years ago, and then we also did a Queer Apocalypse event last year. This year, what I was realizing was missing was though every Queer Apocalypse that we do on the streets is inherently political, right? I am a Black trans woman against the police. So that is inherently political. Me and Mariela, we kind of talked about it and thought that it would be, you know, it would be great to have this no pride in detention, you know, as one of the main focuses this year. You know, I'm not free if they're not free, you know? And so I think this year we're gonna have music acts. We're gonna have fun, but we're also gonna do some theater, some art. So come out. It is 12 to 3. If you need if anyone wants more information or the flyer that just got made yesterday, finally, hit me up. If you're not on my Insta or my Facebook, my Gmail, I can put it in or somebody can put it in the chat. And so yeah, it's this Sunday, June 12th, 12 to 3, at the corner of Santa Monica and San Vicente. We need cars, we need cop watchers, we need people, we need snacks, we need water, we need hand sanitizer and masks. We need a lot of shit. And I do want to be transparent that my whole band, one of my bandmates is out with they're on tour and they got COVID. So we're trying out a new drummer for this. So we're also looking for and usually the drummer is the one that gets a lot of the stuff. So we do need transportation to get other things. Like there's a power thing that we usually get to use for power. There's like other things. Just hit me up. So if y'all have access to a vehicle, if you come through. Did anyone put my email in there? Come on, coworkers, y'all know my email. CHELLA8232@gmail.com. I get it on my phone. And yes, we could definitely, plan this and rock this fucking out and turn it out for our siblings in detention, warning, I do want to warn y'all, it is where we're going to be is at a police station because it's right there. But yeah, so just to let y'all know that. But yeah, let's show up. Any questions? I don't know if y'all can hear that.
Yeah.
The price of living in the hood.
Oh.
I'm living in Skid Row hood. One of my neighbors is arguing with another neighbor. They're cussing each other out. Any questions? Going once.
Mostly on the
Why? I have a question. I love the title of y'all's event. Can we cuss on this thing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry. I fucking love the title Queer Apocalypse. I just want to know why you came up with that title, because it's fitting. But
I mean, to be quite honest, the very first Queer Apocalypse that my band did was as soon as I got in a band, I was like, how can I get us gigs, And I was like, I'll create a gig, because I did have a few friends that were inviting me to gigs, but after like some moved out of their spaces and stuff, we weren't getting any more. And so I just wanted to throw a show, and I was like, what sounds good? Transpocalypse, Black Apocalypse. Actually, yeah, with the Q, that would be cute. And then I just thought Queer Apocalypse, even though there has been another Queer Apocalypse put on by my comrade Ed Z in the olden days. I thought it would be fitting as a Black trans disabled woman to go ahead and take that on. We live in an apocalyptic nation right now, and this was even before COVID that we started this shit. So like Black trans girls were dying right and left, undocumented people were being arrested right and left, and then detained. And there was just also like uprisings that were happening that, weren't being seen. And I was just like, okay, it's chaotic. We're like, let's cause this, system to crumble of this like white cis hegemonic state, So yeah, that's where it comes from. Any other? Did I make sense?
Yes, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. You named several needs, so I was, curious about the needs and how we can help meet those.
Yeah. So I mean, I have to get in touch with my drummer's partner because they are still in the place. Maybe so there might be still some access to like the power generator and like the speakers. I know that not the speakers. We have people that are coming. We have like one person that might be coming with speakers themselves, but we need someone to actually transport them and just keep them until the person is ready to, because I don't have that space in my space and I don't drive. I don't have a car. So that's happening. We need cars to help block. That's how I usually do these protests anyway, to help block it. We need cop watchers, of course. That's why stop LAPD spying. We do need snacks because it's gonna be a hot day. So we're gonna be needing snacks and some Energizer, some water. COVID is still out there and it's on the rise again. Real talk, so mask and hand sanitizer. I'm talking to someone right now about being a drummer. So we have a drummer. We just might need someone to actually transport the drums wherever it might be. And what else? And to transport me, real talk, me and my walker. Usually my drummer picks me up, so I do want to acknowledge that that's real too. So yeah, so hit me up with the flyer. With what you can do, and we will plug you in. I will also send out the flyer to anyone that needs it. And please just send it out to I want a lot of people there, I acknowledge it's so funny because after George Floyd, it was like this performative, oh, Black people dying. We've never seen that before. It was like, where are they now? Oh, I know where they're at. They went back to the corporate jobs. Like it's real. But yeah, I think, just calling people to come, and support. We also might need some big paper to do art stuff. I love art. I think art is beautiful. And we can also use people that are actors' bodies. You don't have to be an actor. You just got to be willing to act in our little thing that we might do, because we might do some TO on the street. Hey. Yeah, I hope it makes sense. I'm a little hyper because I drink my low carb monster. That's a lot that we need. Hello, did I get kicked off again?
No, we're processing and hearing you.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, sorry. TO is Theater of the Oppressed. It's a tool that is used to share stories, sometimes without words. Oh,
are you going
to need interpreters?
Interpreters?
Yeah, interpreters for Spanish, because this is a predominantly, we live in LA, and I did hit up ASL interpreters, but they haven't gotten back to me yet. But we'll see. But yeah. So
one of the interpreters for some of the speakers. It's good to have more than one interpreter though.
Yeah, it is definitely.
But I can do one and I can alternate with someone else.
That's lit. Anyone else? Any other questions?
Do you think maybe a canopy for?
We can, yeah. I'm down, but yeah. A canopy would be cute. I think we have. No, we didn't have one last time. I'm not sure if we had one. I'm kind of confused if we had one last year. I know the first year we didn't have shit. It was very punk, so we could just leave. That's another thing, because cops there. We don't, I'm disabled. I ain't trying to get arrested, real talk.
What were the, it's in front of a police station you mentioned, so I was just wondering, in the past, how have police reacted?
Well, the first year, I think they thought we were part of the actual Pride thing, so they kind of left us be for a minute. And then when they realized we weren't, they started to be aggro. And then they backed up. And it was predominantly, from what I saw, and maybe it was just because of my viewpoint, it was predominantly, I don't want to be rude, but it was predominantly the pro-Pride people that were being a lot more aggro than the pigs. And then the second year, because nothing was there. It was just us. The pigs were ready. They were like lined up with their batons and shit. Just being real, you know? So, I mean, any queer apocalypse we've done on the street, I mean, because it's out in the, you know, surveillance is real. They can see it. They know where we're gonna be. So they're there. One time we even did a queer apocalypse in Echo Park, and the pigs were like, police were like, "Oh, we're here to make sure you're safe." I was like, "Fuck that shit. No, you're not." So like, there's always risk, you know. I'm gonna be honest. I kind of like the risk because I want to tell them, "Fuck you," you know. One of the songs we do is "Killing in the Name of" by Rage Against the Machine. You know, I want to tell them those things, you know. And I think there's something powerful about being there. Did that answer your question, Monty?
Yeah, I was just curious if we can get someone to be a police liaison or someone who's in communication, so it doesn't have to be.
Oh, I'm already in, yeah. And I'm getting NLG. I gotta call them back, but I filled out a form. Yeah. I did ask the person that we usually get, but she's busy. It's actually Gina, who's running for mayor. I'm not voting, but yeah. So like she gave me another name, so I'm gonna try that. But we do have NLG coming.
That's the
National Lawyers Guild. Sorry.
Okay. I see Max's hand. Feel free, Max, to send.
Yeah, I just wanted, okay, so I haven't been to Hollywood Pride in I think it's Hollywood Pride in a very long time. So is this like inside where the parade is, or like an entrance?
So usually the parade is on Santa Monica, and it comes from, I want to say it comes from more east, more east, and then it goes west, right? We are on, I don't know if you know where Rage is. We're across the street from Rage, where the police station is. And that's the entrance for the actual event of Pride usually. That's why I also chose it last year, because I was just like, that's probably where they're going to be if they do have one, but they didn't have one last year. This year, they had a bunch of different events. So like, it was kind of hard to pinpoint where it was going to be. And I just thought, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right here is a good space. The gays are still lining up to go to the gay restaurants and eat and have their brunch. The pigs are still there, you know. So yeah, it's right there on Santa Monica and San Vicente. That's where it actually ends. Usually that's where the parade actually ends.
Cool, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I also wanted to say that I was part of the group that shut down the parade on last Sunday, and one thing that I did notice was getting a lot of crap from the actual audience, or like the people who were there, which was really interesting.
So I hear that.
It's that whole thing. Yeah.
2 years ago, like I said, it wasn't the police that caused the main drama. It was another Black trans woman, really talk, and she was on like a float, and she had her gay boy dancers with her, and they like all like kind of angrily, they almost ran me over, real talk. And
wow.
Yeah, so like they were more dangerous than, I mean, I hate to say it. It will happen. Last year too, we also got some aggro stuff from the people at the bar, but it was like, fuck them, we're here to take up space.
Yeah,
you know, Cumberland bitches.
I was going to add too that here in Sacramento, the Still Here for Trans Rights Coalition organized a Reclaim Pride action in 2019 for the 50th anniversary of Stonewall, right? To highlight and protest corporate pride, rainbow capitalism. And sure enough, just like what you all are mentioning, it was the people that wanted to go in and party that attacked our protesters, attacked violently. You know, they harassed, they were picking up the fences, the metal fences that were like kind of wrapping around the Pride area, and they were hitting protesters with it. People were screaming, "We just want to party. We just want to celebrate." So we're going to begin to see, you know, these liberal forces that are very focused on like rainbow capitalism and like really lifting up like these like bourgeois gay and lesbian and now even trans people, right? And like lifting up police. So yeah, it's very shocking and upsetting to see your own doing that to you. But yeah, that happened here in Sacramento too.
Oh my gosh. Hearing that is like, wow. I mean, yeah. Sacramento is super white. I just going there with LA Can. I would go to the group in LA that does housing rights and shit. We would go to Sacramento all the time and it would be predominantly white. And it doesn't shock me, but so is WeHo. It's super white. It's super white. And the Black people that are there because, let's be real, they want to be bougie. They want to be like that. But I've always said, let's not attack the people, let's attack the idea. Of course, defend ourselves, right? But like, yeah, and that's what like, yeah. I mean, I need bodies, real talk. We need bodies. Like last year, I think it was kind of like aggro, but it wasn't as aggro as the first year that we did this. The first year caused me trauma, and I'm still like, because I know the organization that the people were with that attacked us. Every time I hear that organization, I kind of have issues. I'm like, uh-oh. And it sucks because it's founded by Black trans women, right? And it's so complicated. It really is.
And in those situations where you guys have people who, are acting that way, what do you guys do? Or what would you advise us to do on Sunday?
Honestly, I mean, de-escalation is always where we want to try, right? We want to try to be de-escalating. We don't want any violence happening, right? Like, we're there to shake shit up. We're not there to hurt people, right? However, like I said, if someone throws a fist at you, boo-boo, defend yourself, or if you see somebody that's disabled about to get something and you're there, boo-boo, to help them, but there's no, like when you're in the moment, like I remember saying, we're not here to, and literally on the mic, I cussed the Black trans woman out. And actually after that, I like literally breathed and I was like, and I turned back on the mic and I asked for her to come back. And I was like, hey, because of that, and this is before they ran us over, before they tried to run us over. And there was like, because there was an aggro moment with me and one of the Black gay boys. And then she said something to me. And so I called her a bitch, and it wasn't like a friendly bitch, like, hey, bitch, it was fuck you, bitch kind of shit. And I said, we're not here to do that. I'm just being real with y'all. I don't hope this is not boring to y'all. But, And like, I called her back and I apologized and I said, because of that, I'm going to give you the space. But let my band, who had nothing to do with what I just did, they still want to play. So let's play for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, let us play. And we only played for 10 minutes. And then that's when they started to try to run us over. And so like, and that's when people are like getting me out of the way because I am disabled. And I actually didn't see what happened the rest of the way. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think we should have definite folks to be peacekeepers on both sides, right? For the pigs and the community, you know? I like Nghia and their sibling is always talking about the cops in our own heads, right? These people have a lot of cops in their heads. So like, let's defuse them. Let's not kill the people that are holding these cops, right? I really hope y'all understand what I'm trying to say right now. There's no real right formula for this shit, real talk. Because like in the moment, it's so different. Take it from me. Like I thought I was prepared 2 years ago. And I had a fucking meltdown right after. Which is like, why am I doing this still, right? Really quick, I know we're really like, we should wrap up. The reason I'm doing this is because like I was watching Legendary. For those that don't know what Legendary, it's a show about ballroom culture. It's a competition. And I was thinking about like, I just started crying to myself. And I talked to myself, y'all, I'm gonna keep it real. I do talk to myself. And I was like, I wish this world was simpler for these Black trans girls on the show, you know, and they need this, you know, and I was like, but I'm also needing this. I'm also needing a space to do this. I'm also needing some kind of like way to like visibly be who I am and say, I'm fucking here. I'm still fucking here. After getting diabetes, after getting high blood pressure, after being homeless for 10 years, after having a hate crime happen to me, not once but twice, I'm still fucking here, y'all. Like, I don't know. I hope that makes sense. I think we should end this before. I really want to drink now. I'm gonna keep it real. And there's a Coke waiting on the counter. Any other questions?
Thank you for sharing that, Chela. I was gonna say, just for folks who are showing up, if you know folks are interested in peacekeeping, or if you're interested in that role on that day, it's good to circle up before and ground and do some training. I'm happy to help with that. But self-awareness is important, you know, knowing your triggers, knowing when you need to step back to and others need to step in is good. Yeah, being aware of our different political bodies, who wants to be centered, or who needs to be centered, who needs to be more protected at times, who needs to put their body more on the line. Like that kind of awareness of our political bodies, I think, is also important. But I'm happy to support with any of that. And I have a good little training guide that I made around safety for these actions too, that I can share with you, Chela. I haven't shared it with you yet, so I'm happy to do that. And yeah, let us know if you're interested in coming and if you're interested in doing a peacekeeping role. I think that's one of the main things we need is some protection. Yeah.
Do you have anybody that will be live streaming it for folks that are, you know, somewhere else other than LA County?
No, we don't, unfortunately. I also think that's kind of, I don't know, because shit might, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Maybe watching, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the cops are going to be there. They're going to be watching us. Physically, they're going to be there. There's every protest I've done, they've been there. There's not been a queer apocalypse that I've done a takeover with that they have not been there. Even if they're like a block away, pretending not to be there, they're there.
Maybe
and this is directly at a station, you know, so. What did you say?
I'm happy to help, maybe like if we don't want to live stream it, but like documenting, and I think part of like the watch the watchers, but I'm also happy to meet up with folks before that as well to just go over like different rules. And I think I know one best practice, or like something that like I do often when I go out, and also being like pretty tiny too, is like always like sometimes making sure and having like check-in with friends and letting them know that like I'm gonna be meeting with folks, sometimes checking in with folks that I feel comfortable with and inviting them to come out, so that way we can have each other's backs as well, or tap into one another whenever like someone needs to kind of take up a role. But also just looking in our communities and see like who can we also trust within that, and like tap into folks like if we need support with security, if we need if someone needs to de-escalate, so definitely I think tapping in as well to like not only folks that you're like you came with, but also folks there that can also support and help with some of that some of those tasks. But I know that there's also a snack person, so maybe we can reach out to like the group that provides snacks sometimes for actions, and see if they can also
Yeah.
support. I'll bring my car.
Also, I was thinking of reaching out to Black Bloc. They came out 2 years ago to my Trans Day of Vengeance event. They're lit. I like them. A lot of people do find them like agitators, which is kind of like, but a lot of the folks I've met in Black Bloc have actually been Black, and I've thought they were cool. Yeah, so like, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I like besides partnering up with y'all, I reached out to GJLA because that's who I partnered up with the first year, which is Gender Justice LA. They do resources for trans and GNC folks, specifically when it comes to like health and like the laws and shit like that. And then I also tried reaching out to API Equality, which is they provide mental health resources for the Asian Pacific Islander, folks. And they're the ones that actually did the snacks the first 2 years. And actually, they just got back to me yesterday saying that none of them have the capacity to do it. So yeah, I'm just like, we need bodies. We need people that have direct jobs. That's why I've named what I've named. If folks can get in touch with me and or Mariela, that'd be great. But yeah, I thank you for saying all that, and I agree with that.
So I just shared a Google Doc for a safety training for entrance detention action that we did in Washington, D.C., but it could be applied to any action. I don't know if folks can open it though, and if you want access to it, can you show the public link? I don't know. If I can, I would. Let me know.
I can also, if you want, is it okay to, oh yeah, we can probably mail it to you. We can make it into a PDF and mail it back.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to share your emails, y'all too. I know some folks have to hop off, including Sword. And then what was I gonna say? Folks want to be added to, is there a group chat you set up for the action?
We can start one. We can start a signal so like folks can either email me your number, or we could do it. I think Signal. I like Signal.
If you want to direct message, is it okay if you get either direct message me or Chela with your number?
Yes. And I'll put my number in the chat. Oh wait, someone can put my number in the chat because I can't. But yeah.
Thank you so much for doing this and like organizing this and sharing your experience. I know that you were describing it and how it could be overwhelming, but I think it's extremely powerful and beautiful to see these type of actions. And I'm very grateful that you've been doing this for 2 years. That's freaking awesome. It takes a lot of energy and courage to do something like this. And so I just want to say that I think you're amazing, and I know it can come together. I'm going to put it on Streetwatch Twitter, and I want to ask if it's okay to put your email out there so that people can message you directly about resources that you need.
Yes, a resounding yes.
Thank you.
I know, Nia, you just shared the safety training with me. I wonder if you have access to sharing it with everyone in the chat.
Yeah, I mean, I just sent it to you so that way, you can have the PDF version of it. And if anybody wanted, send it to them.
Okay, I was able to.
I can only send message to you, me, and a couple, the co-hosts, basically.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay, thank you. All right.
And maybe while you're getting the link, and if I think if you're not able to access it, we can always send it to folks through email as well. Folks who want to take a look or just request the access for that. But maybe we can I can lead us in the announcements as well. But if folks also have any announcements that they want to plug in or any actions, feel free to also unmute yourself and like if there's any events or any workshops that are happening soon, to plug folks into the work. And I can get us started with some announcements. So there is right now, there's this, if you go on social media, or if you're in the Hollywood area as well. So right now there is a group as well. On Instagram, it's Stripper Strike NoHo, and it's Star Garden strippers that are on strike for better conditions, as well as for things like for better working conditions, including for security, and different things that could easily be implemented within like the work. But of course, management and folks don't feel the need to sometimes to listen to what folks are asking for. And so right now there is a request for not passing the picket line. If you go on Instagram as well to get involved with the work, they are asking for folks to donate to their fund, as well as to repost their content, their demands, or to join their weekly protest. And those are happening every week. And you can go on Stripper Strike NoHo and get plugged into the work. And then they have a link tree as well that you can access all the different links, including the more details about the demands and the conditions where folks are asking for. And then we also wanted to let folks know about Pedro Echeverria and a petition that we're asking for folks to sign. And I'll share screen real quickly so folks can take a look. But if folks are able to, can folks see my screen? Okay. Perfect. And I'll also drop it on the chat as well. But Pedro Echeverria is a youth from, I want to say, El Sereno, Boyle Heights. And I'm not sure, Mariela, maybe if you would want to talk a little bit about Pedro Echeverria and his case. But I'll put it on the chat as well so folks can take a look a little bit more at the petition.
Yeah, Pedro's a dear friend and neighbor who I met about just 3 months before he was shot by LAPD. He was being constantly harassed. And so that's how I got involved in his life. And we were on a great track. He had just graduated the day from high school, the day before he was shot. The morning he was shot, we had last checked in, and he was set on going to Pasadena City College. He is undocumented, and he was really forced into a guilty plea by the day that we got to trial. And he had an ICE hold since then. He served 5 years in Centinela State Prison, also where my brother was at. And he was gonna be released to like 2 Sundays ago, and he got transferred to ICE custody directly to Otay Mesa. So because he has a quote unquote aggravated felony case, he's barred from bond and barred from a lot of other options. So we're doing, one of the tactics is to get the governor to do a pardon. That's how you can get the conviction dropped. And we're still looking for a main deportation defense lawyer. But meanwhile, there's the pardon with the governor, and there's the requesting ICE release him too. So there's gonna be a lot of movement around that. It's really, really dangerous to get deported to El Salvador. He could get immediately incarcerated if that happens. He can lose his life, having gang affiliation here in LA. So yeah, just I'm sharing. Hope you can support by signing the petition, and there'll be more movement we'll be requesting. Thank you.
Thanks, Mariela. And then here is a flyer as well for the event. I shared it in the chat, but feel free to also, we're going to be posting it online as well. But here is the Queer Apocalypse on Sunday. And then our Know Your Fight. So our next webinar, the first Tuesday, is dedicated to our gender and sexuality. And the next Tuesday will be our War on Youth. But if you want to plug in to any of our working groups as well, feel free to go on Stop LAPD Spying. And on the meetings, there's a calendar tab, and it has all of our different working groups as well, and the links in case you would want to plug in with any of the other working groups as well.
It seems like that's it for tonight, unless there's any other announcements folks need to share or want to share. Well, a big thank you. A lot of love and power to everyone who was here and is here with us. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you, Nghia, Sol, Chela, me, and everybody for showing up. Hope to see you in LA, or hope to see you engage in some of the actions that were shared tonight. And a lot of love and rest in between. If anyone else has any comments, feel free. We're about to say goodnight.
Let's do USADA, y'all, just one time.
All right.
Okay, it is our duty to fight for freedom.
It is our duty to fight for freedom.
It is our duty to win.
It is our
duty to win.
We must love and support one another.
We must love and support one another.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
Yes, y'all. Have a good Pride Month. Hope to see you at Queer Apocalypse Takeover. And if not, then see you on one of the.
Stay safe, y'all.
Okay,
Bye,
bye.
everybody. Happy Pride. Take care.
Good night.
Wali wali.